But then again, like, this is just this is just my opinion. I'm not, like I said, it's not right, but it's just my opinion. And I am for defunding the police, but I also think we have to get rid of the police unions. Steven Crowder made a bunch of good points. It's not a good thing. I'm not saying cops shouldn't have some kind of cover with their job, but you shouldn't have a blanket immunity. And I think with the police unions, it's very easy to end up with a blanket immunity depending on what union you're with, what city you're in. And that's just my opinion. Like I said, I'm not saying I'm right, but it's just my opinion. Damn, I might have to do a part motherfucker 3. I didn't realize this shit was rolling, baby. It's rolling. Nah, I'm gonna kill it with this one. I hope y'all staying tuned, man. I hope I'm keeping this shit popping for you. You know what I'm saying? Popping. What y'all smoking on, man? I don't know what kind of weed I got, but I know that shit is gas. Straight gas. I got some fucking bubblegum oil. That shit I don't know if it's bubblegum. I don't know. Tastes like bubblegum, though. It's fire. Anyways, I'm high as shit. Moving on into from the defunding to cancel culture. Because cancel culture is something I've always wanted to talk about and get in. I think I have a few times, but this is more of a, elaborated, thought-out, actual idea on it. Now, cancel culture right now is in full effect. If you don't bend the knee and say what you're told to say, told to think and speak by the thought and speech police, you're going to get fucking canceled. They're going to come for your ass. They're going to roast you. And I'm not talking about, roast you it's jokes. I'm talking about they're going to fucking try to fry your ass. They're going to try to get everybody that ever loved your ass to hate you. They're going to try to get every job that ever hired you to fucking turn their back on you. No more reference letters, motherfucker. Now, whether you say all lives matter or black lives matter, you catch flack from either side. It doesn't matter, man. It really doesn't. And when I say it doesn't, they're coming for everybody. They're coming for everybody. And when they come for you, man, like Tucker Carlson said, they will. They do. They came for him a bunch, man. They coming for him now heavy. You got the sponsors and shit. I know they had Disney and another one backed off. I heard a couple others did too. Right, I don't know why the fuck Fox had Disney as a sponsor. Anyway, that's weird to me. The fuck, why would Disney have anything to do with political shit? But there's some things around that, but we gonna step away from that. Now, Tim Pool said it really, really good. He said, if the right wins, the left is okay, and the right is okay. If the left wins, the right's, if you're a conservative, you're done. They're going to cook your ass. And if you don't tote the line as a leftist, they're going to cook your ass. So you either bend the knee and conform to whatever the left says today, or they cook your ass. So I think that's what I see. And free speech is just that. As long as you're not out here inciting violence and shit, you are free to speak your shit, talk your shit. But like I've said, you talk that shit, and someone don't like that shit, and they bust your ass, don't get mad about that. Don't complain about it, and do not go after speech. Because that is one of the greatest things this country has. You can be arrested in other countries for making jokes and shit. Here, you say whatever you want, as long as you are not inciting violence or calling for violence. And it's pretty simple not to do those things. Unless you're trying to, dog whistle, get people to read between the lines type shit. People do that. And then it gives them plausible deniability in a sense. Now, I'm not for all that fuck shit, but they could be. And that's on them. If you want to be the speech police, that's on you. But, like I said, there's a two-way street. If you say the wrong thing, you get your ass beat. You try to police someone's speech, you get your ass beat. And I don't want to hear complaints from anybody getting their ass beat when it comes to free speech. Unless you somehow incited violence or were calling for violence. Then you probably have your ass getting beat for a legitimate reason. Hence, if you're calling for violence and violence happens to you, don't cry. And even this, like I said earlier, I see a lot of white people out here apologizing for things that they had nothing to do with. And it's beyond comical. It's beyond pandering. It's beyond pandering when the politics do it. It's beyond pandering when the businesses do it. It's just pandering. And when you're apologizing and you're trying to get everybody else to feel that white guilt, that's some really serious insecurity shit. And like I said before, that just shows me that y'all are really truly racist. Because if you're feeling white guilt over something you really didn't have nothing to do with, and I'm gonna assume you did some pretty racist shit, and that's why you feel bad. And you think now, coming out and telling people not your exact truth, because God forbid you wouldn't want that to come up, but exclaiming that we should all feel white guilt and white privilege. You did some fuck shit, and that's why you feel like that. That's in my opinion. You closeted with your racism, you closeted with your privileged thoughts. Cancel culture comes for big or small. Sort of like Antifa. They go for old or young. It really don't make a difference. They beat up young voters, old voters, medium-aged voters. They don't fuck what your age is. If you support Trump, they hate your ass. Just facts, man. That's just truth. And the more people muffle what they say to give cancel culture what it wants, we go further into a hole that we should have never been digging in the first place. You could see cancel culture happen everywhere. Just like you can see people bend the knee everywhere and apologize everywhere. But yet when they bend the knee and they apologize, that shit doesn't work because cancel culture already canceled them. So hence you have people here begging not to get canceled after shit they said. Tim Pool said today, like 5 hours ago, I done told y'all should have been deleted your Twitter history and your social, those post histories. Yeah, if you really were out there saying some fuck shit, you should have. But you probably should have never put that shit on the internet to begin with. Because we were all told the same thing. Once it's out on the internet, it never comes back. You could never delete it completely. I mean, people act naive when it comes to this internet shit. Like, it's been happening. People been talking shit, been being fucking off the top racist. You gonna go after every gamer that ever says any offhanded shit in the fucking lobby? Like, I mean, that's to me that's cancel culture. Going after everybody, big, small, no matter what. Doesn't matter if you said it 5 minutes ago, if you said it 5 years ago, 15 years ago. Unless you have, like, let's say Ralph Northam. I believe he's the governor of Virginia. He's the one that did blackface. But then you had all the Democrats go to bat for him, so nobody really said anything. Yeah, that type of having people cover your ass. And that's really what this is. People pandering, that's them just covering their ass. In reality, that's CYA, cover your ass. Make sure you say you're sorry now so you don't have to say it in the future for something you might not ever do or you might have done 10 years ago. And I'm not saying that. A good example is one of the there's this girl that I think she was a couple grades below me or whatever, but she said some really racist shit when she was in high school about black people on Twitter, and she's Arab. And it was all over the Minneapolis news. You can check that shit out. She worked at her dad owned the Holy Land in the global market in Minneapolis, in South Minneapolis. And the global market, you can go in there and try food from fucking, I think it's like 200 different countries or some shit. It's a pretty dope-ass place. I used to have a couple of people that worked in the hospital building area above and used to go have lunch with them. That shit was dope. She got fired But she was the CEO's daughter, so I really think there's some backroom play at that shit. But like I've said, racism, that shit's taught at home. So when your daughter's out here talking shit and being racist on the internet, you're probably racist at home. And I think the elders know that shit, that the shit's taught at home, so they really don't like when cancel culture comes back and bites everybody in the ass. Because not only was she fired, a couple days later, that Holy Land was evicted from the global market. So not only did your daughter pretty much lose probably anything she ever had going for her at this time, but you lost your business. And to grow up in Minnesota's diverse. At least where I grew up it was. And I loved every second of it. I had so many friends. And all of them still would say they're good people. But there was also some bad apples too. People that were extremely prejudiced and racist. And I don't fuck with them no more. I don't think anybody does. Because I think when you're taught that shit, your colors never change. You're not gonna, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. It is a good way to put it in my eyes. But cancel culture is also now going for sponsors. And that's on every level. That's on whether it's a political thing or whether it's just a fucking fuck you kind of a thing, cancel culture. A good example is, I don't know if you guys all watch YouTube or getting anything on YouTube or anything like that, but if you're on YouTube for a little bit of time, you'll hear about H3 Productions with Ethan Klein and Gila Klein, and you'll hear about Keemstar. Well, they were beefing back and forth. Now, I don't know the whole beef, I ain't getting all that, but they were beefing back and forth, and they've now lost hella sponsors because their fan bases went after each other's sponsors. Cancel culture. You canceled out shit that you should have never been going after because, again, it goes back to free speech. Just because you don't like what someone says doesn't mean should you be able to cancel what the fuck they're saying. Now, I believe in the sense of, if you're out here saying racist and fucked up shit, then yes. But then I was thinking, at what point? At what point do we stop? And then I think case by case basis, those things. It's truly a double-edged sword. It becomes a very messy situation very fast. But when you're looking at people's sponsors, and you think, damn, they're fair game. You're going after everyone's sponsors. Fucking, you got YouTubers losing sponsors. You got Tucker Carlson losing fucking sponsors. You got, and I mean, Tucker Carlson, he went after Black Lives Matter for being a political organization, and he had a monologue that upset a lot of fucking viewers. And those viewers went after his sponsors. And it wasn't the first time. And he had people protest his fucking house. I don't think that shit's particularly okay. Because why are you showing up at his fucking house? That I don't think is okay, but I guess you're going to protest where you're going to protest, right? Another good example of people, cancel culture is the quartering. The quartering, Jeremy, I can't remember his last. He's just a quartering, Midwestly. I like his content. He's a YouTuber. I think he aligns himself with Republicans and conservatives. I know he's from Wisconsin, those things, but he also has some pretty, progressive and leaning views, and that's fine. I think everybody should have that. I don't think anybody should be dead set on one side because, you'll never outgrow at all if you just stay in the same fucking vacuum. But he lost the Dollar Shave Club sponsor, and that was because of something he said. He was just talking. He was just giving an opinion. Now, he wasn't out there questioning Black Lives Matter like Tucker Carlson was, but he gave his own opinion on some things, and they bucked off his sponsor real quick. Its companies are afraid to deal with people now, is how I think a lot of people are seeing it. You're afraid. You're afraid to deal. And then, it's not... This is what I really, really, truly think. And let's all be honest about this. When it comes to companies, it ain't about that black and white or whatever skin color you are, baby. It's about that green dollar. They're going to market in whatever way that makes them the most money right now. That is without question. That is without debate. There is no way you're going to argue that or tell me that that's not 100% true. They will always pander and make the most money off the situation that they can. Very seldom do companies mismarket wrong. They don't market wrong very often. It's not a hit and miss situation normally with big companies. They know